What's up, guys? What's going on? I know this is a face that you have not seen in quite some time. It's been a long time since I've been live. Just for whatever the reasons are, life has been busy. Just mentally, just wasn't really feeling like it to show my face, and had been on vacation, and so now I'm back. How are you? And when I feel like what I feel like doing, it is okay, regardless of what anybody thinks. So, moving forward, I hope everybody is having an awesome day today. I am doing a live video. Okay, I'm here live. What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome to my Aisha Speaks Jade podcast, where I am your host, none other than Aisha, also known as Jade, which is my nickname. Making sure that you do what, guys? Put that RESPECT on it. Today's episode that I want to speak to you about, and before I say that, I am hashtag the messenger, hashtag the researcher. So today's episode I want to speak to you briefly about is 5 ways to improve inclusivity for people with disabilities. And we all know that disability is not just physical. Disability in general could mean a variety of different things. But a lot of times we are overlooked for those that live with a disability when it comes to a number of things. Okay. So most employers, especially employers, they feel like if you have a disability, and a lot of times they may see the physical, yes, if you have a physical disability, but there are a number of people who have a mental and or emotional disability that most employers would not know about, because there are people who don't want to, put that out there. So they don't know unless, let's just say, a bad day, something was triggered or whatever the case may be, and they see it and then they start questioning it. However, again, people with disabilities are overlooked a lot of times. So most employers are forgetting a talent pool that holds millions of people. This pool has gone largely untapped, however. And if you are on live, just make sure that you show me some love by hitting the thumb up, or showing some hearts to me, so I know at least you're on here. Okay, I appreciate that. So we all know how tight the labor market is in this country. So why aren't employers hiring people with disabilities? I guess they think that, people with disabilities can't work. They won't be able to perform like those that are supposedly not with a disability, especially when it comes to a mental and or emotional disability. As well as physical. People think, oh, they got a physical disability. They are just not going to be able to keep up. People get things done how they can get things done. And they perform a lot of times better than the ones that claim that there's nothing going on with them. As a nation, we need to do something about all this. We need to act. How do you build a workplace that's welcoming for all, right? Disability or not a disability. How do you build a workplace that's welcoming? Business leaders from organizations like Bank of America, Ernest and Young, Starbucks, and Walgreens shared initiatives that have allowed them to expand their employee pools. So I want to speak about 5 moves that every organization can make to better include employees with disabilities. So the first one would be prioritize accessibility. Prioritize accessibility. So before employers can work on any other initiative to better include employees with disabilities, they must make sure all employees have full accessibility to their jobs. As a baseline level and practical level, part of inclusion means accessibility. Accessibility in the physical environment, the digital environment, and how we do things, the daily business behaviors. It makes a difference between feeling truly included and a real sense of belonging, okay? Providing this accessibility means employers need to make accommodations. Speakers echoed each other in saying accommodations do not generally rack up an exorbitant cost or require tireless efforts to supply. And let me just make sure. So there's a person by the name of Jim Wendover, who is the chief HR and diversity officer at Viability. He recalled an accommodation a floor manager made for a dyslexic dyslexic employee at a Walgreens distribution center, where he served as a corporate field inclusion manager at Walgreens Boots Alliance. Since the employees couldn't locate products within the center based on numbered aisles, managers printed out pictures, wagons and zebras, for example, and posted them next to the aisle numbers. It cost us nothing because we just printed them out. So with this accommodation, employees of all reading abilities could locate products whether they knew they could find something in aisle 57 or the zebra aisle. So again, a disability does not just define being disabled physically, like a physical disability. This individual who worked at the Walgreens distribution center was dyslexic. So he had issues with reading, but they accommodated for him and they printed up things that he or she was more able to identify with, and made those accommodations better for him at no cost. The next is value flexibility. Creative accommodations to ensure employees have full accessibility to their workplace and their jobs can also go a long way. Leaders should consider extending an attitude of willingness and open-mindedness towards job functions. The employer has a great opportunity to rethink how they want jobs to be performed. A resource hub for people with disabilities, and that is uh, Viscardi Center. Viscardi Center is a resource hub for people with disabilities, and the CEO there is John Kemp. If they're willing to break down functions and assign them to various people of various skill sets, there are tremendous opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities to work at or above minimum wage. Now, do I feel that they should work higher than a minimum wage? Yes, because they too have to thrive and survive. You understand? They need things as well. So don't just have them at a minimum wage, give them more. But that's just my thought on it. So, for example, this individual by the name of Randy Lewis, he serves as a Walgreens SVP supply chain. So he spoke briefly about his son who has autism and inspired him to employ more people with disabilities. As he hired people who struggled to perform a job in a traditional way, he simply asked the person applying for the job how they would approach a certain task. If it takes two hands to handle the case, ask the person. Show them the job and ask them how to do it. Chances are They've had a lifetime of figuring out how to do it. He had a deaf employee who needed to test a horn on an in-warehouse vehicle. So when asked how he would test that horn, he bent and placed his hand on the dash to feel the vibrations the beep would make when sounded. And another said he would drive up behind a group of people talking, blast a horn and wait to see if someone jumped. And so the person, they responded with a laugh. Like he was joking about it, you know. But again, there's different types of disabilities. And people with disabilities in general work every day. There are people with no hands, there are people with no legs, there are people who can't speak, there are people who can't hear, there are people who can't see, there are people with autism, having dyslexic, mental issues, physical issues. So there's a variety of different things. But people can work, people can survive and thrive. The next, which is number 3, is represent all employees and go beyond marketing. So focusing on projecting as a means of signaling to employees with disabilities their inclusion. By projecting, they mean including images with a range of disabilities, our own people, not models in our own offices. Working in teams, making disabilities visible in an organic and natural way. So one business from Ernst and Young has made it a practice to feature images of employees with disabilities working at their firm in its printed material, right? So it is not just random people. It's actually people who are employed with that business or organization. So the organization's employees don't just see themselves on pamphlets and posters. We mention disabilities every time our leaders talk about our culture. When a company leader talks about inclusion, he or she will touch on the effort that Ernst and Young has made to include all employees of every race, gender, sexual orientation, and ability. Number 4, embrace storytelling. So several speakers emphasize the power of storytelling as a generator of compassion and inspiration. One of the things that they've done that has had the greatest impact is storytelling and creating forums for storytelling. We don't have people stand up and talk about disabilities. And see, people think just because you have a disability is one of those woe is me type of things. And we have to talk about, oh, I have this. No, we live beyond our disabilities, okay? We have people in natural context where they're talking about themselves and their careers and what those careers have done for them. And they represent that they have a disability, or it'll be obvious that they have a disability, and they'll tell their stories the way anyone else would. Okay, so no one is necessarily looking to be babied or be babied. Okay, treat us fairly. Okay, so Bank of America introduced an initiative called Creative Conversations. And they did that a little while ago, about almost a year ago. And it's called Creative Conversations. So more than 65,000 employees have participated in the group discussions, which center on social issues. It brings us together to learn about each other's perspectives. We found that it's given employees the opportunity to share in a safe environment and teach one another, because that's what it should be about, teaching one another and respecting that person's space that they're in and respecting that person. And this initiative has become very powerful. And lastly, number 5, champion a learning attitude. Champion a learning attitude. So they hire people with disabilities. He took a problem and changed it, right? But in the beginning, he knew that he and his team, and his name is Lewis. Lewis knew that he and his team would make mistakes as they traverse the unexplored territory the distribution center entailed. They probably weren't never used to having individuals with disabilities, right? Again, disabilities can be a variety of disabilities. So you can't predict all the things that are going to happen, and the things you do predict aren't going to happen. So Starbucks has launched its Inclusion Academy, which prepares people with disabilities for jobs in retail. Store supervisors had as much to learn as new hires did. One of the key learnings was that there needed to be more training for our store managers, who were the ones that were going to be taking on the individual with the disability. Education around how to continue to develop them, how to communicate, which is key, communication, realizing our resources. We've got amazing access to resources through our Seattle Support Center. That might be one of the main ones closest to them, not sure. Whether it's technology, whether it can be an interpreter, whether it be accommodations in the workplace. So whatever it might be, guys, please stop. Some of you guys, please stop being so mean when it comes to individuals with a disability, which is whatever, not just physical. It could be a number of different things. Stop being so damn rude. Learn that person, because that person is so highly developed and smart and intelligent and definitely willing to learn. Now, it may take some a little bit longer to learn, but you have to be open to having some patience and teach them. And I know for sure once they have it down pat, they are on the go. They are excited about having a job, and doing what they love, okay? And again, stop working individuals with disabilities at minimum wages. Give them the fair play, or give them what they deserve as well, okay? So thanks, guys. It was kind of short, but hopefully just kind of, given a brief conversation on individuals that have a disability. So thank you, guys. Make sure that you join my social media platforms, which I am right here, right now on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel. Again, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and my YouTube channel, which you can find me at Aisha Speaks Jade. Again, that is Aisha Speaks Jade. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Aisha Speaks Jade. When you go to my YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe by hitting that thumbnail, as well as hit that notification bell to stay notified and stay in the loop of everything. Also, if you are on LinkedIn, I am as well. You can find me at Aisha Jade Speaks. Again, that is Aisha Jade Speaks. Appreciate you guys. Always remember, let's share, support. Tell a friend to tell a friend to what? Tell a friend. Okay? Because I know I'm very supportive of quite a few people. So with that being said, always make sure self-care is a priority. Self-care development, self-care awareness. Love yourself and respect yourself. like know your worth and know your value. Like Nike, whatever your passion is, just do it. There's always adversity. There's going to be challenges. And I find that when I go through those things, I have to remind myself to catch it, check it, and change it. It's not always easy, but it definitely can be achieved. And you have to love on yourself and you have to believe in yourself, right? You can say a bunch of affirmations and inspirations and listen to a bunch of inspirational or motivational podcasts, but if you don't believe in your goal or your passion, then you're pretty much just listening. And you're pretty much just kind of saying some words, but it's not going deeper. You have to believe it. You have to claim it, and you have to receive it. And I speak to myself about that as well, okay? Because I'm no better than you guys. I'm here on this journey as well, on my healing and recovery journey as well. So just be good to yourself and, have a better tomorrow. I feel like I want to come on again and talk about some things, whether it's here or my personal page. But however it is, you have my social media platform information. Be good to yourself, guys. Again, I say peace and blessings to each and every one of you, right? Make this week, the rest of this week, dynamic, great, and awesome. Believe in yourself. Namaste and Ashe. Have a good evening.